Shalom. Time for video blog number 4. First, as you hopefully know if you are seeing this on my blog, jewishandy.blogspot.com, I recently went on a little vacation. Vacation from vacation. I went to Petra and Eilat, and then Petra, actually, for 2.5 days with people who are also studying Hebrew at Hebrew University, as well as two people who are learning Arabic. There's lots of people who are learning Arabic here as well. Eilat is in the southern tip of Israel, right near Jordan and Egypt and maybe Saudi Arabia. It's on the Red Sea. It's a port city. As you can see, I read a little book on Eilat. It was captured in the 1948 war quite easily. Apparently the Jordanian soldiers fled, and the Egyptian soldiers were grateful to see the Israelis because they'd run out of water. And I guess it's kind of a summer vacation spot for Israelis. There's lots of giant touristy 5-star hotels and beaches and fun like water skiing and swim with the dolphins. There's a boardwalk. There's casino boats. So we got in late at night. We got at like 10 p.m. on Thursday night, and we went to the beach and we went swimming, and it was totally warm and nice, and the water was very pleasant. So we swam out a little bit, 3 or 4 of us, and put our heads underwater, and it's really salty. It's not like the Dead Sea, but it's still really salty, and so it burned my eyes really bad. That was kind of stupid to go underwater, but you can swim out into the water, and you can like hear music playing, and there's people on the beach, and you can see Aqaba, which is the port city on the other side of the Red Sea in Jordan, which I went and visited. More on that later. Anyway, so the next morning we got up, we had a super quick breakfast, and we took a Jeep ride to, one moment, let me silence this. We took a Jeep ride to the border, Yitzhak Rabin border crossing to Jordan, and went into Jordan on a tour, Echo Tour. Amazing, great, highly recommended, Echo Tours. And so they took us through the border crossing. I got a Jordanian stamp in my passport, and then we went on about a 2-hour bus ride to Petra. We learned about Jordan. We stopped in Aqaba. We saw the tallest flagpole in the world is in Aqaba. You can actually see it from the beach in Eilat, which is kind of cool. We stopped there briefly. We got off the bus. We had a little snack, and then we went through the city of Petra, which is booming because it's a tourist location. And then after that, we went to the ancient archaeological ruins of Petra, which are from the 5th century BCE, before the Common Era. Were built by a group of people called the Nabateans, which were kind of nomadic Bedouin people. I think it wasn't a city itself that they built. It was largely burial sites, and it was then taken over by the Romans, and then the Ottomans, and then the Muslims, and then the British, and then the Muslims, and then everyone's basically spent some time in Petra. It was kind of undiscovered for a while by the Europeans, and there were Bedouins living there. It was rediscovered by the Europeans. Some British explorers went in, drew a bunch of pictures, got really excited. It was reopened to tourism. There were enough inscriptions in Nabatean and another language that they were able to decipher the Nabatean language and learn about the burial practices there. Eventually, King Hussein, and I want to say the late 1980s, told all the Bedouins who were living there that they needed to leave. He built them a city to live in near Petra, and now it's a tourist place, and the Bedouins come every day and work there. They have some restaurants. At the bottom of Petra, we had a delicious Bedouin meal. I don't know if I'd ever had kind of authentic Bedouin food, or if that was really authentic Bedouin food. It was delicious. And they have a bunch of routes along the way where you can take different Bedouin-style transportation. So first it's horses to get you to point A. From point A to point B, it's donkeys. From point B to point C, it's horse-drawn carriages. And from point C to the bottom, it's camels. So we walked the whole way down so we could hear from our tour guide, Elias, who was a Jordanian Christian. I guess they're 4 or 5% of the population. He told us all about Jordan. Talked about how much he was happy with Israel, loved Israelis, because I think a lot of the tourists are either Israelis or coming in through Israel. So since the peace treaty with Jordan, it's been great for Petra, great for Israel because we get to go visit. And then on the way back up, I was with Stephanie and Tamara, who are also studying Hebrew with me, and we went on a gamal ride, which is camel in Hebrew, gamal. And so there was lots of bouncing up and down on camels and kind of nearly running into people. The Bedouins, they were very much jokesters. One of the camels was named Monica Lewinsky and one was named Bob Marley. They kept saying gamal jam when we ran into other camels, camel jam. And at one point, the guy offered to buy from me Stephanie for 2 camels and Tamara for a camel and a donkey. A camel's worth about $3,000. I wasn't selling. They all had, like, all of them had cousins. They were all offering, like, to marry their cousins. It was all like, marry my cousin. He's nice, whatever. So that was a lot of fun. Petra's a really amazing place. The giant facade, kind of when you first leave this, you walk through this really narrow canyon, you walk into what's called the facade of the treasury. There was this giant urn at the top of this giant statue that had been carved into the mountain, and the British thought that it was full of gold. And so, being idiot European colonizers, they took their guns and blew it up to get all the gold, and it wasn't gold, it was stone, but it was called the treasury from then on. A lot of the Bedouins had apparently been born in those caves before King Hussein built them their village, so anyone who's like over 24 or 25, probably born in Petra, they have these great stories. The women largely, I guess, stay in the village and raise the children and cook, and they make this metal and stone and jewelry and, you know, precious stones, and it's being sold in Petra. Everything's super cheap, you know, because we have dollars. They love American dollars. These little Bedouin children, like 6 and 8 years old, are like riding donkeys and camels and like trying to make deals with us. It's always like, you know, ride the camel, ride the donkey, you know, and they're like haggling with us. And at one point, Stephanie tried to give them some charity, some tzedakah. She said, "Here, have a 5 shekel." Which, you know, it's like a couple bucks, which is like a lot of money for them. Like, you know, we were like buying crap for $1. So, and the kitty wouldn't take it. Tried give it back. She wouldn't take it back. Eventually, he runs up to me and just puts it on my arm, not in my hand, like on my arm, and runs away. So I think the Bedouins there are doing pretty good. I think they, at least compared to the other Bedouins in Jordan, I think they're making money off the rich American tourists, because we're all riding camels and donkeys and carriages and whatnot. But they're great people. It's an amazing place. I'd really recommend a lot. I'd really recommend Petra. So we went back. We napped. We had dinner. We went out. We bought some alcohol and went and drank on the beach that night. And then the next morning, we went to Coral Beach, which is one of the nicer, I guess, kind of nature preserves in Israel, and a lot. And there is coral reefs. And I went snorkeling, and I've never been snorkeling before. So we like laid out and got tanned. I don't really tan. I just kind of hide under a hat so as not to get skin cancer. But then we saw all the fish and the coral, and then we went back to we actually went to a Bedouin tent for lunch. It was delicious. Hummus and cheese and pita and cucumber and tomato. Everything is like cheap and delicious if you're at the right place. Like the shuk, the Bedouin tent, so that was great. We were all tired, we were all exhausted. We got back on the bus, we went back to Eilat late last night, and then I had to do the rest of my test in class today, and I think I did terrible. So I'm going to go study Hebrew. But here's a video to say hi, to let you all know what's going on, and there's pictures and video on jewishannie.blogspot.com of my time in Eilat and Petra. Alright, more updates soon.